Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
I guess we knew it was coming. Gas has hit the $4 mark in the Boise area for the first time this year. Monday, AAA told us to prepare for a roller coaster at the pump, and here's the first hill. Right now, the average price for regular unleaded gas in the Boise area is $4.01 a gallon. Across the Gem State, the average sits not far below that at $3.94. That's up a nickel from Monday. AAA suggests removing heavy items from your car, combine trips, make sure your tires are properly inflated to improve fuel economy.
Are you ready?
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. I hope everybody is okay and doing well. The rain has been easing off here in Maine, but it's still been cloudy for the most part, threatening to look like it's going to rain. We've had maybe a bit drizzle and maybe a short shower here or two, but the rain isn't as bad as it was last week, you know, maybe it's starting to let up some, hopefully, but it's still nice and people are still eager to do things even if the sky isn't cooperating. You know, people will only stay inside so long before they decide, you know, screw it, we're doing this, we're doing that, I don't care if it's going to rain or not. And, you know, I think if you live in a state like Maine, you have to sort of have that general attitude, because otherwise you're just never going to be able to enjoy a damn thing because of the weather here. And, you know, Maine is one of them states where if you don't like it, wait a while. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been, you know, if you don't like it, you know, wait a week or two. You know, so, you know, that going on. You know, here's something funny happened to my girlfriend here a couple of days ago. Well, of course, she lives up in Kingman, which is about a half hour outside of Lincoln. She went with a friend of hers to Lincoln to get food and just shop around a bit. And she had a black leather jacket, which how she described it, because I never saw it because she got it at a yard sale up there. But, you know, it wasn't like a very good coat. It was kind of beat up and everything and old, and it was kind of worthless, and she got it for free at a yard sale. Yeah. So she went up there and got it, and she kind of tossed it in the trunk of her friend's car, and when they went out shopping or whatever, when they got back home and she went to get their coat out, it was gone. And she's like, where the hell did it go? You know, and she, you know, and I can just imagine how she was acting, because, you know, she really gets pissed off when things happen to her like that. And when she told me about it, I was like, Jesus, you know, a leather coat. And then she said, well, I didn't pay anything for it. It was free at a yard sale, and I didn't really like it, and I wouldn't wear it out in public. But I was using it like to keep me warm at night, because I freeze my butt off, and the cat's like laying on it. So I'm thinking, well, it was no big loss to her, I guess. But still, if you think about it, you know, why would somebody take it. If it was of no value to her, why would somebody want it? I mean, and she's very small. I mean, she takes a size 0 in pants, okay, and she's very short, and so the coat would be like really, really small. So who in blazes would want it? You know, unless it was a little kid or something. And I can't imagine that a little kid would have, you know, opened up the vehicle and saw it in there and taken it. You know, I mean, whoever was looking for was probably looking for something of more valuable. But why that? You know, it just seems kind of funny to me that somebody would take a leather coat that really isn't that great and, you know, and want it. And, you know, the person that would wear it would have to be a kid or somebody built like her. You know, she's really small. So I'm thinking, you know, there's something, you know, a factor in that she doesn't know of her yet, you know, or maybe perhaps, you know, she thought she left it in the trunk and maybe she didn't have it with her at all. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes she loses things and she can't find it and she immediately blames that it was stolen. So I don't know. I just didn't want to get into that kind of discussion with her because I probably figured it was going to end up into an argument and it only makes her mad. And you know what I'm saying? I know her too well. Okay, it's one of the things. But if she mentioned it to me, you know, then it must have bothered her at least a little that it was taken. But oh well. So I know that the last couple of, well, I mean, it's been late, mostly the talk about Trump that everybody is like talking about on the news and the commentators are talking about. It's, you know, because he's been arrested twice and, you know, indicted twice for things. And he went through the trial, you know, the rape trial thing. And, you know, so justice is starting to, you know, spin its tires on him now. And things are getting dicey with the Republican Party. There's a lot of people there on Trump's side, and then you got people in the Republican Party that are kind of, you know, wanting to turn their back on him because he's drawing too much bad publicity, which filters onto everybody else, okay? And, you know, you got DeSantis, who is his own fucking problem, and they're, you know, it's like right now is not a good time to be a Republican because they got a lot of shit piling up on their heads, and they ain't got very many places to pile the shit up around them so they can get fresh air. Okay? And their chances of them, you know, actually making an impact in becoming, you know, the next president of the United States is very slim, in my opinion. Okay, I mean, they'd have to pull off some major victories between now and election day to be able to, you know, for people to say, oh, you know, Biden, he's going to have you know, Biden right now looks pretty good. I mean, despite his age and all the other things that they make fun of him about, what they really can't make fun about is the things that he's accomplished, okay, which is far more important, I think, at the end of the day than how old he is. Because, look, a president, I guess, can be old, but he doesn't have to be surrounded by old. He's got people around him that are younger than him, half his age, okay? And, you know, they can, you know, pretty much help him out in the planning of things, you know, if, you know, he runs into trouble or something, okay? So it's not always on the shoulders of the president. It's also on the shoulders of his administration and who he's picked. So you have to give them some of the credit, too, for the things that's been accomplished because he couldn't have done it by himself, all right? And I can say that same thing for every president we've had down the line. So it's really not just one man we put in the White House to do things. It's a whole team of people that we put in the White House to do things. So when you think about the age factor, it's not such a big thing, you know, unless you really think that the guy is, you know, an embarrassment because he can't formulate a thought, or he's tripping and falling everywhere he goes, or he's, you know, or he can't be questioned by reporters because he just, you know, goes off into tangents, you know. You know what I'm saying? You know, it looks bad when you see a world leader that's really not cognizant, okay, because he is the one that's got to speak for the administration, and, you know, it comes with its price. So, like I said, this is all they've been talking about is Trump and all his problems, and Hold on a second here. So, you have that problem there going on with the Republicans trying to, trying to get ahead of the ball. And as far as I'm concerned, the ball is pretty fucking big. If they got ahead of it, they're going to get squashed. Okay? The best thing for them to do is really to cut all their ties to Trump, period, and just call him for what he is, a troublemaker. And he's not presidential material. They could actually gain more momentum that way if they just say fuck him, let the small percentage of the party follow Trump if that's what they want, but we're going to put somebody up there that's better than him and is not a person whose integrity is already shot before they even begin the game. Okay. Because Trump, it isn't just Trump you're looking at, it's Trump plus the baggage that he's created behind him. And that's considerable, my friends, considerable. I mean, we still don't know everything that he did while he was president for 4 years, but what we do know about what he's done as president for 4 years is quite a hump of shit. I mean, amazing. No president in American history, I think, has ever had this much controversy mounted on top of them as this guy here. I mean, we're living in historic times in this country, and they're not good, but it's historic. These days are going to be noted in history books for generations to come, because these are pivotal moments in our country's history that could either make or break this country. So, as everybody talks about all the details of, who the lawyers are going to be and what the lawyers think, and, what Trump is doing going around still running for president, and saying, basically reiterating the same lies and adding on top of them what more lies, which is really what everyone's been doing. I think people right now are just saying, look, enough of this, the sideshow, okay? Just give us the details of when the trials are going to happen and, and what the verdicts are, because, there's a lot of other things going on in the world, and they deserve as much attention as you've been giving Trump. I think people are getting a bit worn out by all these stories about him. I know that people who've been watching my videos have kind of said the same, as much, that, these stories are getting tiresome. You spend too much time with it. And I agree. But I think sometimes, whatever comes out, if I talk about it, it's important to me. It might not be to you or somebody, but it does seem important to me. But for right now, I think, all that's been said has been said already for the last couple of weeks. And so I just don't think that, until there's some big thing that comes out that really, puts Trump in a bigger corner than he is now, I'm just kind of waiting. That's what I'm just doing, is just kind of waiting, see what comes out, But right now, I think one of the concerns is still the discussion concerning oil and the price that's increasing. Right now, I've been driving around here and stuff, and I noticed the gas prices, they vary from station to station. And I saw one of the stations was up to $3.72 a gallon. Okay, and to me, that's the highest price I've seen so far in this area, which is a lot. Okay, I don't even think it was that high during the pandemic, at the height of the pandemic. But it's really up high, and I can't think that what's going on in Ukraine is the only reason why that is, okay? Because they keep bringing up OPEC. OPEC's cutting production, okay? They're cutting production because they want to drive up prices. And I'm saying, you mean the prices aren't high enough? I mean, what the hell do they want? $5 a gallon? What's the point of driving up prices more? And here's another part of that. Right now, people are really pissed, okay? Because a lot of people aren't going to be doing much traveling this summer, okay? Understandably. And that means that a lot of people are just going to stay close to home if they do anything this summer. And that's not good news for, towns and stuff like that depend on tourism to keep their small businesses going, okay? There's a lot of towns along the coast of Maine that depend heavily on tourism for their money. and they'll be affected by it just like what happened during the pandemic. So I can't see that, what's being done is a good thing, except maybe for the oil companies. But here's the thing that I keep going back to when you're talking about, them trying to get more profit. Wouldn't it make just as much sense for them to increase production of oil and lower the prices down, so that way they can make up for it in bulk and probably get more profit in the end, because it would encourage people to buy more fuel? Doesn't it make more sense that way? So why are they going this way by trying to get rich quick? Okay, over the fact that we could supply the world with a lot more oil, bring the price down a buck or two, okay, and then at the end of the day, we actually make the money we wanted to make originally. It just took us a little bit longer to get there, but at the end of the day, we still get the money we want, and it eases off on the consumer. So I don't understand why they go this other way, unless there's a problem with actually distributing the oil itself. Could it be that the supply chain of oil from one country to another is still so short-handed that if they increase the production in the shipment of oil, they wouldn't be able to sustain it because there's not enough people or enough, whatever, to get that stuff out? Maybe that's the reason why they're going this way, by cutting back production and raising the price, to get profit. Maybe that's the reason. But here's the risk they're taking by doing that. Already there's talk around the world about people wanting to dump their vehicles for something that's economically friendly and to them and good for the environment, like these battery electric cars and stuff like that. The last thing in the world that OPEC and the other oil companies want is people thinking that way. You know what I'm saying? They don't want people to be encouraged to get rid of their gas-guzzling SUVs and all this other stuff for this little car that gets like 100 miles to the gallon. They don't want that. So I can't see how what they're doing right now is going to really help them in the long term, because it's only going to force some people and encourage others to say, don't be an idiot by sticking with fossil fuels. That's the old days. That should be as dead as the dinosaurs that the oil's coming from. It's time for a new day. It's time for a new way of living, and it's time to get off of that and on to something more efficient. Okay, something that is better for your wallet and better for the environment than burning the same old. And it's coming. The realization is actually hitting a lot more people now than it ever did. Okay, I think there's a lot more car dealerships around that are offering those solutions for people who are looking for it, because the demand is going up, and nothing is driving up that demand more than the price of gas per gallon as we go around. It's not right. It's not fair. But at the same time, America is not fast enough at getting the necessary, how can I say it, the setup to be able to keep these vehicles going, which means, not every gas station has the electric plug-in thing for your vehicle, to charge it up or something. They need to have these things already in place. It's still very much a fossil fuel system out there. So we have to encourage that. Look, if you're going to sell these cars, you've got to get these gas stations updated, so that way they have the means to keep those cars going as well as the gas cars. So we really need to get that. It only makes sense, right? I mean, Jesus. I mean, at some point, that's going to be all that's going to be on the road. Just like we phased out VCRs and everything went DVD. It has to happen. At the same time, you're bringing in new something, you got to phase out the old as well. So we're not really doing a very good job at that. But I think maybe the infrastructure package that was passed might have some of that addressed in there. But a lot of areas of this country are still very much fossil fuel oriented, and hell, for them, they probably won't ever get that system set up for another 2 or 3 decades. So yeah, I mean, we have that. And like I said, I don't see how raising the price and cutting production helps the oil industry in the long run. It doesn't. It might give them some short-term profits and stuff, but it's going to bite them in the butt at the end of the day, because all they've done now is they've lost customers, and if they try to go back, it ain't going to work, because then they've already set a new bar where it has to stay. So what I'm saying is that in order for them to maintain the profits they're getting, they're going to constantly have to raise the price all the time, even higher than what it is now. Because right now, people are out there looking around for better, more efficient, fuel-efficient vehicles. And, you know, after a while, you know, it's really impact them. I mean, our country's still the biggest importer of oil in the world, and we still produce the most oil in the world, even over OPEC and Russia and all them. We make a lot of oil, but we import a lot more than we make, okay? So the United States is #1 in the world on both those fronts, okay? China is somewhere second or third from us, okay? But we still rely heavily on it. And until those numbers go down, I don't see that, you know, much is going to change here. Until people really in this country start to get really nasty about it and say, you know, we got to stop this shit, and you know, we cannot sustain our economy with this, because it's costing more for everything now. You know, when you got shipment being relied on by trucks that run on fuel, the price of food goes up, the price of clothing goes up, the price of everything goes up, and if it's going up faster than the government can keep up with, you know, like giving people increases in their benefits or like Social Security and all that other stuff, if it's going up faster than that, then all these people are going to fall way behind, and the cost of living is going to be too much even for them to be able to live, you know, under inflation that's gone rampant. So, you know, there's that problem there. That's really something that you know, really needs to be worked on a whole lot. And it's a story I think right now is more important than Bozo Trump, because I think everybody, at least I'm hoping that everybody understands, you know, just how rotten that son of a bitch is, and how, you know, having him as president for another 4 years is the biggest mistake this country would make, that could lead us into financial catastrophe like you wouldn't believe. All right, let's go to commercial, and we'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original. noticed how tourism commercials use camera angles to make things look big and exciting? They make you think, wow, that looks like an epic vacation. Is it working? How about now?
Hold on. You don't need to use camera magic to make this vacation look exciting.
Get more about the investigation, including new details about the guns in the safe security version in the Uvalde School District.
It's a good bet no fast gun in the Old West was ever faster than this, all due respect.
For sure, going to lose the baby. Terminate the pregnancy, even though Amanda was at a high risk of developing a life-threatening infection.
Holy fuck.
Were you just checking out her ass?
No, I wasn't.
You know what? Fuck this.
Wait, babe, calm down. Oh my god. Mary! I am sorry!
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I love the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
I don't care, man. Okay, just you are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know that what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you have done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this world. Son. Don't call me son. One. Please.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Now, something else here that I want to talk about, and it doesn't have so much to do with government politics as it does with Hollywood politics. Okay. And I know you're wondering, what the hell could be going on in Hollywood that's important enough to talk about here? Well, I think what's going on here with Kathleen Kennedy, at least as far as toxic fandom is concerned, is really something to bring up, because if you are a YouTube user, okay, you probably noticed that there is a plethora of news coming out about Kathleen Kennedy and, you know, what she wants to do here and what's happening to her there. And the problem with all of this talk about her is, A, these are coming from sites on YouTube that are like mine. Okay, they're just commentators. Okay, and they claim to have sources to back up their information, yet they don't say how, who the source is, or they don't bother to, show anything to back up at least partially what they're talking about. Okay, like there's no paper evidence, there's no audio evidence, there's nothing there to really give them something to say, well, yes, I'm not just talking out my ass here. There is some information that's out there that the press hasn't picked up, which in itself is kind of strange, because I would think that anything that they're talking about right now about Kathleen Kennedy would be mainstream media already. And here's the things that I've been seeing on there. First, they were saying that basically Hollywood's kicked Kathleen Kennedy out. Okay, they're saying that no studio wants to work with her anymore, and they've had it with her, so she's persona non grata. Okay, and and so in my way of trying to find something solid to back up that story, I can't find anything in the mainstream media. The only sources I have are coming from these sites on YouTube, which are themselves questionable at best, because a lot of times these people will say something and it's proven wrong, and no one ever holds them over accountable for what they said. Okay, which is a problem in my opinion on YouTube, is you basically can go on there and lie your ass off and never have to worry about anybody holding you to the fire because you lied. Okay, and I think when you're talking about a company like Disney or Paramount or somebody, you better have your ducks in a row, because that's slander when you start talking like that on there and you don't have anything to back it up. Okay, so that's one of the things they've been talking about on there, is that Kennedy's pretty much out of Hollywood. The other thing is that Disney wants to sell off its Star Wars franchise and its Marvel Universe franchise, because they're claiming that they've made nothing but failures with these things, and it's cost them billions of fucking dollars. Again, I tried to look that up on certain places on the internet that I trust. Nothing said about that. Okay, no rumors to that effect. To me, again, in every newspaper or internet site that has some kind of entertainment section, you would think that would be something that would be at the top of the fucking page, right? You hear, oh my God, they're not going to do any more Star. They're selling it. Who's going to buy it? Who's, and how much is it going to cost? Everybody likes to talk about money and stuff like that, but you don't hear about this on any place else. Only on the YouTube websites, like Doomcock and Mike Zero and who's the other one? Nerdrotic. Okay, these people here who are very good at putting out drama when they're talking about stuff. And I think there's a lot of suckers out there that are sucked in by the drama in which they report it. They don't bother to do like what I do, to check out and see actually legitimate media sites actually picking this stuff up, and it's not happening. Okay, it's just these people aren't bothering. So the rumor mill gets started on these web pages and on YouTube, and then all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. So there's that. Also, there's a lot of fucking mosquitoes swirling around Indiana Jones 5, the movie that hasn't even been released to the general public yet. Every critic in the Hollywood industry is voting thumbs down on, according to them. Now, I don't know how many times I've seen a movie where I liked it and nobody else did. Okay, or at least I'm convinced that nobody else did because of all the critics' reviews. Now, if you go to like Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't really use that as a big way to decide if to see a movie or not, but I do like to read the comments in those things to see how people are commenting about it, because then I can tell if it's bullshit or not. Rotten Tomatoes. If you ever go to Rotten Tomatoes and just go through some of your favorite movies and look at the critic score and the audience score, a lot of times you're going to see there's a big difference in one way or the other in those scores. And the only way I can explain that is that critics, make their bread and butter on critiquing movies, okay? Who the hell is going to listen to a critic that's saying, oh, this is a good movie and it's great and this and that? Some people, are just not going to be that interested in listening. But if you say, oh, this movie sucks, it has a problem here and it's no good there, people will perk up. Why? Because, hey, if they don't have to go see it, they're going to save money, So they want to hear that, so that way they're encouraged not to go see the movie so they don't have to spend the money, okay? And because if somebody like their wife or their kids say, let's go see it, he can turn around and say, oh, we're not going to go see that. I heard it sucked. You heard it from who? Rotten Tomatoes? Okay? Do you even realize how wrong those people are in a lot of good movies that came out? I can't tell you how many times. There's some movies on there that are really rotten or shitty, and yet they give it a high score, in the 70s or 80s. I mean, it's like, how the hell did you get there? So, you got people that have an agenda when they're doing stuff like that. And you got people, that because they do this for a living, they're making money off it. The audience scores are going to be more honest, I think, because, hey, they're not making money from it, as far as I know. Okay? And the reports they're getting, the feedback they're getting is always posted on their page, so you can actually read some of it. So I say that, these people on YouTube that talk about how Indiana Jones is a flop and it's not going to be any good and it's this and it's that and there's a problem with the actors and, and Kathleen, I think that's just an expansion of what they're already talking about other things, okay? And that gets them views when people go to them and they listen to that. And of course, they've got they don't have their own opinion of the movie because they haven't seen it yet. But they're also interested about what this guy is saying about it because they listen to him all the time. And they agree with a lot of things that he says, or she says, about the Hollywood industry and stuff like that. Now, like, there's one guy, Nerdrotic, okay? He's a conservative. And I don't know if he's aware of it, but he injects a lot of political dogma into his opinion about Hollywood. And as you know, Republicans despise Hollywood, even though they're constantly watching their movies. They hate Hollywood because it's so liberal and it's so woke. You know what I'm saying? That's what this guy. That's where he starts from when he looks at a movie. Right off the bat, it's shit because they got too many woke things in the movie or something like that. So naturally, you're not going to want to listen to him about an opinion to a movie because he's going to start feeding you his opinion about Hollywood in general, okay? No matter what the fucking movie is. If it's something in there that's got a woman as a lead, he's got a problem with it, or something like that, okay? That's an example, but I'm just saying that he's not the best place to start for an opinion, okay? Because he's not going to be open-minded, and he's not going to come off in a fair fashion, okay? And that's one of the things that, about listening to people on YouTube is because they don't have any standards that they have to follow if you're going to be talking about a movie to be fair, and they see that whenever they talk negative about something, they get more views. So why would they want to be fair, So this Indiana Jones quandary here that they've created on YouTube, to me, is just more of the same. I mean, yeah, they complained about the Star Wars movies, and they were right about a few things about it. Although I did like Force Awakens. Okay, I didn't like the one after that. The last one was okay, I guess. It wasn't great, but it was okay. But I didn't see the same problems that they saw when they watched it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not offended by the woke or whatever the hell they find a problem with. I don't. Okay, so that wasn't the reasons why I didn't like the movie for whatever reason. It wasn't based in that. So the reason my opinions about movies is always the story. Was the story coherent? Was it impactful? Did it have an underlining meaning to it or something? Those are the kind of things that I judge a movie by. Was the acting good? Was there a lot of action? Was it, was there a lot of, sleepy time in the movie? You know what I'm saying? Where you're not, you're kind of losing focus. Those are the basis of what I judge a movie by. It's not by, some political agenda you might see coming in through there, because you're so paranoid about it that you're going to see it everywhere you go. Okay, I don't go like that. But I'm hearing a lot of that already with the Indiana Jones 5 feedback coming from these people on YouTube. And just because people at the Cannes, the premiere of Indiana Jones 5 didn't get such a big resounding, thumbs up, they're already calling it a failure. Well, it wasn't a complete failure because some people did like it. Okay, let's be honest here. It got a mixed review. It wasn't a failure. It was a mixed review. Some people were expecting Indiana Jones 5 to be something, and it was a whole different thing. And the fact that they have a character they've introduced into the movie that could be a potential spin-off franchise for it, which may not happen, but it's a potential. They didn't like that because it took too much focus away from Harrison Ford. So, again, not having seen the movie myself, not having been able to digest the story of it at all, how could I possibly get on here and tell you whether or not this movie is good to watch because of a review it got, in France or wherever the hell they do this? Okay, I'm sorry, but that's not fair to you. It's not fair to me, and I don't think anybody should take my word solely, no matter how I judge a movie. You should see it yourself because you might find it a good movie, for what you were expecting. You might not. Okay, everyone's going to be different about it. You cannot make a movie that's going to appeal to everybody. Okay, it's not going to work that way. It never does. No matter how big the movie might make in money, it still had people who didn't like it. Okay, so don't ever listen to these people on YouTube. Don't ever listen to me when it comes to critiquing a movie. Go out and watch it yourself, however you want to do it, okay, before you make an opinion. Be honest with yourself and be honest about the movie. Don't spread rumors and gossip like that really are counterintuitive to what a studio is trying to do. They want people to go and see this movie, and you're out there telling people not to see this movie. That, to me, seems like you're crossing legal bounds there. Okay, you're slandering a movie that hasn't really been seen yet by the general public before it's been released, and I don't see how any company can allow that to go on. I think at some point down the road, laws are going to be enacted where people cannot review a movie until after it's been released. Okay, that might sound like, oh, you're intruding on our First Amendment is one thing. But what you're doing is you're making predictions about something you haven't seen. You're talking about something that has no public knowledge. Okay, it'd be like, let's say like saying, oh, there's going to be a fire over at, in this area here soon. Okay, and all of a sudden people stop buying homes in the area because there's going to be, it has an impact. It has an impact, when you do stuff like that, and it's not fair. It's not honest, okay? And how do we know that a lot of these movies that haven't done well in the box office weren't brought down because of all the negativity that you get when you watch these programs on YouTube? So I say, look, if you've got any ethics or any moral code at all, you will shut your mouth until the movie comes out before you start slandering everybody about it. The same thing goes with Kathleen Kennedy, okay? I can talk about Kathleen Kennedy for the things that she has done, okay, with certain things with the movies and stuff like that, okay? But I cannot sit here and repeat something that I cannot find any backup to, okay? Even if they claim they have backup, I doubt they could ever produce it if they got a source or whatnot, okay? I doubt they could actually produce it because they don't tell anybody on their podcast what the sources are, and they're likely not going to tell anybody what they are because they probably don't exist, Okay, I can go ahead, I could name somebody or not name somebody and say, well, so and so told me this and that and everything. I can come on here and say that, you know, I used to be a front runner for, you know, congressman and stuff like. Who's gonna bother to check it out? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, and the thing of it is that too much of that now has gotten out of control. I saw this years ago about this kind of thing getting out of control. Okay, because nobody really holds these people over or asks them, who is it that gave you that source? Where can I find this source? You know, where can I get something tangible in order to say, okay, I see where that's coming from, or something like that. Where can I get that? Okay, other than your own mouth, other than your own opinion about things you piece together. Okay, where can I get the full layout of all of this stuff so I can ascertain whether your opinion is right or not? You see? So like I said, this is something that, you know, they really need to talk about in days to come on YouTube, because I think people are making too much of an impact on movies and stuff like that these days, and it's not fair because they're not, you know, there's no responsibility given to people who mislead the public about things like that, okay? And it affects studios and stuff. And I can understand why the term toxic fan has become a household word now, because there are a great deal of them out there, and they have nothing to do but destroy other people's favorite things, okay? They're like criminals that run amok, you know, because they can do it. You know, there's no police that's going to come after them for saying what they say, and none of the people that listen to the person is ever going to question them or ask them to do anything. It just, all you do is you get data given to the people watching, and they spit back their reaction to what you said. That's all you get. You don't get anybody saying, well, can you show me where you got this information, or where the source where I can confirm it. You don't get that. Nobody's inquisitive, you know, about trying to figure out, you know, where the truth is and where they're making mistakes and maybe disseminating that information. So it's a problem that I think needs a lot of attention, societal attention, about how far do we let people go on sites like YouTube to talk about things like that, because it does hurt corporations at the end of the day, okay? And you may not like corporations, hell, you may not even like Disney for that matter, but it still doesn't give you the right to basically, you know, alter the, you know, the outcome of the profit margin of a movie because, you know, you may not like it, even though others might. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the right to do that. You got to be fair about it. But, you know, when they see professionals on TV doing that all the time, they figure, well, if they get away with it, I can get away with it, so why can't I? You know, and, you know, like I said, a lot of these people on YouTube, they do this, they get profit, okay? They get profit for the things they talk about. I don't, and maybe that's the reason why I find it easy to be fair, because I've got no motivation to lie to you about stuff, okay? There's no thing for it for me. I might try to entertain you in some way, you know, to you know, give you a reason to laugh or something, but, you know, I'm not going to dish out something that I don't know something about, okay? If I don't know something about whatever I'm talking about, I'm only going to give you what I know, or what I, you know, and what I might see happening. But nothing is fact, or you should never look at what I'm saying as fact, okay? Always go look up the stuff on your own. And, you know, you'll probably be surprised. You know, I might be wrong about a lot of different things. Who knows? Because, you know, I can't possibly read everything about something. And, you know, I might miss an article that might have been an important thing. So, you know, you should do the same with all the other places on YouTube as you do with me on that, okay? So I hope you can understand why that is, because I don't want to give people the wrong impression about something, political or otherwise, or encourage people not to see a movie when, you know, there's a possibility that somebody might like it, you know, and if I tell them not to watch it, then, you know, I've done something bad, you know, because these people might have got some enjoyment for a couple hours and they wouldn't, you know, that's not good. You know, that's not treating your fellow man right. So, you know, people gotta be wise about that, you know. If you want to make money for your blogs and stuff, find some other way to do it, okay? Don't just be what do they call, party pooper, because you get money for that. Okay, don't fall into that trap, because everybody copies you, and all of a sudden everybody's saying the same thing you're saying. So what makes you any different than everybody else? Why would they tune into you when they can get the same shit from another person? Okay. All right, so I think, that's pretty much about the Hollywood thing I wanted to talk about, except if you want to know more about what Kathleen Kennedy is doing and what's going on with that, I would suggest Entertainment Weekly. I get a lot of my stuff from Entertainment Weekly. I'm not so sure about a lot of these other places because I don't really get my information from there. There's a lot of things. You got Fandom Wire, you got Movie Web, you got Gizmodo, and these are things that are not on YouTube. Okay, they're just but whether or not they're actually factual or dependable, that's another thing. But I can't say that whatever they are saying on YouTube is happening to Kathleen Kennedy is really happening, because, like I said, I can't find any source that's reputable to back up that, because nobody's saying it. Nobody's saying anything similar to what these people are saying. Yeah, she's going through some rough times right now with the Disney and Star Wars stuff. I know Disney is considering not doing a season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which, doesn't surprise me, because right now you have that writer strike going on, and Disney's shutting down that hotel in Florida, the Star Wars hotel, because they're saying that, the $5,000 a day fee to be there was just, was maybe a bad idea. But they shut down the whole hotel, and that's because profits are lost. So they're losing money there with the Star Wars theme park, because it ain't the big thing everybody was hoping it would be. It's really kind of humble, and it's expensive. And if you don't realize that, then go to Target and you're going to see a lot of toys on the shelf that were made to go into the gift shops at Disney, at that place down there. But they can't sell any of that stuff, so it's being distributed to different stores in the country, so they can at least get some of their money back from it. Okay, so yeah, it's not working out quite well, and that's because there was a lack of imagination when they put it together. Okay. A lot of people that have been there came back saying, I may not want to go back there again. It's not what I hoped it would be. Okay, and so there was a lot that needed to be done there, but I think they rushed putting that together before they actually sat down and thought about what people would really like to go there to see. So, but that's pretty much covers it all. I don't know what else to say about that. Whatever I can get from them, I guess I could say here if I feel I trust it or not. But yeah, like I said, just don't get too riled up with what you hear on those YouTube sites there that talk about Hollywood stuff, especially concerning Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, because ever since that trilogy movie came out, everybody's been gunning for her in every which way they can. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of that stuff is just made up. All right, so everybody, I hope you have a great rest of the week, and please subscribe, comment. I'd like to hear from you. Keep your ears open for COVID-19 news in your area. Still out there. May not be so much in the news anymore, but it's still out there infecting people and getting them killed. So keep your ears open to that, and just treat each other nice. Make some good karma out there, because really treating people nice is about the last thing we can afford to give these days, because money's tight. Jobs are hard to get to that pay a lot, and we're so absorbed in trying to stay above the water, as it were, that we don't feel like we have time to give a little, at least on the goodwill side. So just try and do that, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So take care. Bye-bye.